This might be one of the coolest hotels I've stayed in. This is Asher Adams, which used to be a historic train station back in 1908. What they ended up doing was taking that train station, so still the same body and skeleton, and revitalizing the entire thing. With that, you have hidden whiskey bars, century-old stained glass, and rooms inside the old depot. Today we'll break down what to expect, benefits you get, and whether it's worth a stay. Big favor before we dive in is to hit the like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. Let's go. Welcome into the premium room at the Asher Adams. This has to be one of the most homey rooms that we've ever been in. First though, let's start with the view. So it is sunset right now, and you do have a big building blocking us, and that's going to be the gateway right over there. And then you can kind of see Main Street on the left-hand side, and it does go pretty far. Turning around, it's pretty nice. There is a yellow tone to it, so some people might not like it, but I'm kind of vibing with it. We did end up opting for 2 beds, mostly because we like having more pillows, and one of us hugs the sheets. One really cool thing is that the lights are very rustic looking and go with the theme of the hotel, which is an old train station. This is off and this is on. So all the switches are manual, which is an interesting choice. I feel like most places now have more central controls, but that's fine. I wish it was still analog, but maybe they had one central control pad right in the middle. That'd be pretty cool, where you had all these switches. Right over here is a giant TV. I'm guessing like 50 something inches. Pretty sizable, looks like 55. I really like this table because we have something similar at home. Ours is white and kind of wood tones, but yeah, pretty nice. There is a safe over here, pretty large. You could actually fit a MacBook in here, a laptop in here, which is nice. A lot of other safes are quite a bit smaller. Down here are just drawers for storage. Pretty nice. They still have that new wood smell to it, which is really cool. It is a new hotel, opened late last year. So I think we are in month like 5 or 6-ish. Down here is a mini fridge and there's nothing in here yet, but you can put your own drinks. Interestingly, I think they might not be allowed to put drinks in the mini fridge to sell because they might not be allowed to sell alcohol, but more on that in a second. There are some coffees and teas, and these are going to be specialty blends for Asher Adams. And let's actually open one to smell it because I'm kind of curious. Chocolate, sugar, and creme brulee flavored. It smells really good. Yeah, very homey. Mandy, take a sniff. Decaf is dancing goats, and then there are some teas. One really good thing is that they do have a kettle that allows you to adjust temperatures. They're very artisanal. So for a lot of teas, there are kind of different ranges that they recommend depending on what type of tea it is. So I think for this one, it is going to be 4 minutes at 200 Fahrenheit. So this kettle, which we have one at home, is a fellow, and you can actually adjust the exact temperature you want. So in this case, adjust it to 200 or 180 or whatever you're doing for the type of tea, which is pretty nice. It also auto stops when you don't have water. Down here is going to be some cups, ice bucket. That's kind of concerning. Ew, yeah, not sure if that's rust or what's going on there. There also is a little jug here. One really cool thing is that there is ice on each floor. So instead of an ice machine that's noisy and loud and kind of obnoxious, there's going to be pre-made and pre-bagged little ices. Also is a water station right over here. Even though it looks like glass or crystal, it is plastic. The closet is pretty bare bones, which is surprising. So that's it, yeah. I feel like I was kind of expecting a robe or something else, but yeah, very empty. Also no slippers. There's a steamer here, but no iron or iron board. In case you're wondering, we are over here in this room. So it is one of the larger rooms on the floor. There obviously are even bigger ones right over here. I'm guessing these are suites. But yeah, this is a little bit bigger than the standard ones. Over here, you have a nice, comfortable couch and a light here that's perfect for reading, maybe enjoying a coffee. It feels really great right now because I was skiing all day and my legs are a bit tired. Over here, there's going to be some art, which is insect and ocean inspired, and of course, train station. So this is a postcard from 1946, and it was 1 cent to send something. Beds are pretty comfortable. Yeah, really nice. Over here, we have the bathroom. So one thing we first noticed when we got here is how big the bathroom is, because there is a ton of space. I feel like a lot of other ones are just a lot smaller. Maybe we're used to more cities, but I can't even touch both sides without like moving. It's pretty sizable. And looking at where Mandy is, there's a pretty big back area as well. So yeah, just a lot of empty room. I feel like they could have shifted the door a bit more over and made better use of the room. This just feels like dead space. So the reason we say that is because I feel like there could have been a tub here and it would have looked a lot nicer and people would have probably used it. Otherwise, it's just a very big bathroom. Over here is going to be a gigantic mirror, and I really do like the aesthetic. So there are some lights and it's kind of this whole bright vibe, and then the rest of the bathroom is very dark. So it's this contrast. Really bright. Everything is going to be from bergamot and hinoki. Flavor or scent is salt and stone. They also do provide body lotion because it is pretty dry in Utah, and yeah, body lotion's nice. Other than that though, it is pretty bare bones. Cotton buds, and that's it. Down here, there is a hair dryer, just a generic Conair. Shifting around over here, we have the shower. So it is an okay sized shower, very bright lights. This is a bit lower than I would like. So like 5'11", 6 foot. I don't know how anyone over 6'2" would shower. I guess they would just be over here and you have to like dunk water over your head. Yeah, pretty low. Also no overhead shower, so just this one. I think if you're over 6'2", you're not gonna have a good time. If you're Wemby, I think you're seeing over this whole top area. Shampoo, conditioner, and body wash are salt and stone scented, and again, bergamot and hinoki. Bathrooms over here. And not too interesting for the most part. Yeah, pretty standard, not a bidet or anything, and there is some pretty cool art. Pretty nice cozy room overall. We did end up booking a stay using Marriott Luminous through a travel platform, and if you are curious about that, I'll link it down below. With Luminous, you do get a bunch of benefits, so pretty much elite level benefits without having elite status. This includes a welcome amenity, breakfast for 2, early check-in, late checkout, and a room upgrade. Since we do have Marriott Platinum status, we kind of double dipped. So we're getting all of these, but we also have a $10 voucher for food and beverage, and we ended up getting another $50 credit for breakfast, but what we ended up doing is making that into a general dining credit. Your mileage may vary there, but worked for us, and yeah, excited to try the food here. I'll leave a blog post down below walking through the platform, and also another one walking through Marriott Platinum status and how to get it by getting just one card and holding it. On that note, if you want to learn about cards and you want to support the channel, we do have links on the website, asksebby.com, and also down below in the description box. Make sure the links are competitive, but otherwise, it is a huge way to support the channel, so thank you in advance. Even if you're not staying here, I think it's well worth a visit. From the outside, you can see the iconic Union Pacific Depot sign and historic architecture. The moment you walk in, you're greeted with artifacts from the construction of the railroads. Whether you like history or design, there's probably something here for you. When you look into the Grand Hall, it sucks you into another world. One of the big priorities with the hotel was to maintain the historic fabric of the railroad station. For example, the light fixtures, tile floor, and molding details are all original. They were cleaned up and preserved, but that's why you'll notice cracks throughout some sections of the tile and walls. Up top, you have stained glass windows and beautiful murals as well. There's a lot of little touches that you might not otherwise notice, but it's extremely well designed. One of my favorite elements are the lights. There's something about walking through this space that just feels magical. In the back, there's a giant table with railroad spikes that acts as a work or coffee space. In the middle is the bar, which doesn't just look fancy, but also serves fancy cocktails. Right behind, serving as a background, are the original ticket booths. I guess whether it's 1908 or 2025, this spot is a great place to run away from your problems. If you take the elevator upstairs, you'll be greeted with more art and suitcases. I'm a sucker for design, so this just works for me. Up here, you have two options. On the right is number 119. This is a whiskey bar that looks right out of a movie set, especially at night. This is a great spot if you want to relax with player 2 and enjoy the skyline out the giant windows. You also get a great view of the Grand Hall and the murals from the top. Again, lots of little things you might not notice when looking upwards. There's also a secret vinyl lounge up here called the Gandy Dancer. Gandy Dancers being a nickname for early railroad workers. Gandy being the tool they used, which was a long lining bar, and dancers because their synchronized movements looked like a dance troupe. There's over 2,500 vintage records that you can listen to. This is a great option if you're looking to entertain or host an event. Staying upstairs on the other side, you have the gym. It's pretty sizable and pretty much what you'd expect. modern equipment and a mix of weights and strength training options, and more cardio-focused ones. I also like that the gym keeps the style of the rest of the hotel and keeps the flow. For food, you have two options. Counterpart is a coffee shop that serves in-house pastries and of course, coffee. This is also the gift shop where they sell merch if you want to buy a keepsake like a jacket. Rouser is the main restaurant, with their specialty being charcoal-fired foods. With that said, let's head to dinner. For dinner, we did quite a few things, and first up is going to be the octopus salad. It is super gigantic, so I'm kind of surprised. Maybe I'm used to West Coast or San Francisco portions. It almost feels like an entree. As a vinaigrette, so very much feels like a salad. It is a little overcooked to me, but flavors are pretty good. It is charcoal cooked. Yeah, very tasty. Yeah, I feel like it could be taken out like maybe a minute earlier and it wouldn't be as dry. There also is some lettuce. Pretty normal there. The last up is potatoes. There are two types, kind of a normal one and a purple one. This one's the purple one. That's a good potato. That's really good. Pink one. And then octopus with lettuce. It's very meaty if you do it like that, but still a bit chewier than I would like. Next up is the Parker rolls. It does come with 5 and looks really good. Smells very buttery. Buttery and salted. Not as light and dense as I would have hoped, but still pretty good. There also are two things you can dip it in. First one's honey. Honey's good, so works out. Other one is butter. That's really good butter. The octopus salad is definitely the more artisanal pick and the healthier one, but this is pretty good bread and pretty good butter, so I think I would actually lean towards the Parker rolls. Probably terrible for me, but delicious. Okay, the mains are here, and I think our eyes were a bit bigger than our stomach, so this is going to be interesting. The half chicken is gigantic, and it's a very large chicken, so the half is pretty sizable. If anything, I think it's actually as big as some of the whole chickens we've gotten elsewhere, the smaller ones. So yeah, should be fun. First though, let's start with the short rib. So you get 2 cuts, as well as some potatoes and mushrooms towards the middle. So it's super thick cut, and it pretty much looks like a steak. Perfect medium rare and great flavors. Yeah, no complaints really. I also really like the char towards the outside. Adds a nice little crunch. This is just really well cooked. The other part of it is going to be, I think, a fried potato and also mushrooms. Mushrooms are great, crispy potatoes are okay, a bit denser than I would like. And yeah, not much flavor there. Short rib though is amazing and definitely the highlight of the dish. Next up is the chicken. I have to admit that I am a bit intimidated by this now. Really well cooked and supple, not dry at all. Even the white meat is pretty bouncy. Flavors are also really good, kind of a chili oil on top of it. Yeah, really tasty. It also does come with kimchi and some fried rice. Fried rice is interesting. Yeah, super flavorful. It's Leginka fried rice. It is cooked in pork fat. Yeah, super flavorful and delicious. Also is a bit of a kick, so if you don't like spicy, then might not be for you. Kimchi. Good, authentic kimchi. Wow. Pretty surprised. I don't know why, just didn't expect it to be good. Last up, let's break the egg and try the rice again. Really good. I think if I had to choose one, I'd probably go with the chicken, but short rib is also tasty. This depends on you. Chicken is also a lot of food, and you could probably share it with 2 people. Gonna work on this and see how far we get, and see you in a few minutes. In terms of locations, you are pretty centrally located, so it's not downtown, but it's about 5-10 minutes away, depending on how fast you walk, and it is super convenient for basketball as well as hockey. Right behind me across the street is the Delta Center where they both play. This side is a bit sleepier, but there are still a ton of malls and other shopping centers nearby. So right behind is going to be the Gateway, which is a bit quieter now, but there is still Dave & Buster's if that's interesting. And the big shopping mall is about 10 minutes that way. Also, if you do want to stay in this area, but you don't want to splurge, there is a Hyatt Place pretty much one building over, so that's an option as well. Also, if you do want to use public transportation, there is going to be the trams or the lightning rail right over here. And it's, yeah, just across the street, pretty convenient. There also are ones that go to the airport, which is nice. With that said, let's walk over to the mall and we'll do a hyperlapse. Okay, we are now at the mall area. About 10 minutes away is City Creek Mall. The really cool thing is the name. So there is a creek right in the middle. It is a man-made one, I believe, but yeah, pretty nice, and it works really well with the aesthetic. It is an indoor-outdoor mall, so this is the indoor part, and the outdoor, there's kind of a circle and a bunch of other shops around it. Pretty nice. This is the outdoor portion. There's going to be a fountain, and the stores do get a bit more expensive. So you have Tiffany, LV, and Arc'teryx back there. Nearby is the Utah Sports Hall of Fame Museum. Admittedly, I'm mostly a basketball fan, but still cool to see and worth 5 to 10 minutes. Unsurprisingly, you'll see a lot of John Stockton and Karl Malone. They also have trivia consoles as well. Good morning, it's breakfast time and we're back at Rousers. So we do have a credit from both for room booking and from having elite status, so platinum given that they don't have a lounge and this is their substitute. We are taking it a bit lighter today because I think last night's dinner was a bit intimidating, so instead of getting 2 mains, we got 1 main, chocolate croissant, and 2 coffees. For the main, we're debating between steak and egg and the smoked shot Benny and opted for the Benny. It is pretty sizable for 20 bucks, like 2 gigantic Benedicts and also a bowl of tots. Let's start off with the Benny. It looks super impressive. Super flowy and perfectly cooked egg, and yeah, just looks amazing, super aesthetic, and I feel like it's very substantive compared to some other Benedicts we've gotten where it's a bit more plain. This is pretty solid. Let's give it a taste. Egg is perfectly cooked. A lot of salmon, which is nice. Salmon super flavorful. Not the most moist salmon, but the egg does a really good job. So it kind of just works out anyways. Yeah, really good. No complaints. English muffin's also pretty interesting, so instead of it just being plain, I think they did pan-fried in butter, so it tastes really good and it's really crispy. Definitely one of the better Benedicts I've had, and I'm not really a Benedict person. I usually wouldn't order it, but this one I would. Let's try some crispy potatoes. Not bad. Wish it was a little airier. It is a bit dense. There also is a sauce with it. Sauce helps a lot. Bit of a kick to it. Yeah, pretty good. Let's try the fruit. It's okay. Let's try another one just in case the first one was a dud. I probably wouldn't order the fruit. Not the best to me. That's okay. Let's try one more because Manny said hers were very ripe. Watermelon's pretty good. Yeah, the cantaloupe and honeydew were not it. And Manny said the berries were good. Let's try the blueberry. Yeah, berries are pretty ripe. Last up is the chocolate croissant. Ooh, wow, really crispy. It's very flaky on the outside. Let's tear it open. Okay, so I have pretty high hopes for this right now because it's the consistency I like. Consistency-wise, it's one of my favorite styles of croissant. Super crispy on the outside, but still relatively stays together, so it doesn't all fully flake off. Wish it was a bit more buttery, so I feel like they could have done a bit more there, but maybe for obvious reasons I don't need the butter. But yeah, really good. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. Okay, going to finish this and head to the next destination. One of the best parts of Salt Lake City is your proximity to ski resorts. You could stay in the city proper and drive to most of these in under an hour. From Asher Adams, Alta and Snowbird are about 35 minutes away. Deer Valley and Park City are about 45 minutes. The fact you have access to world-class ski resorts in a comparably short drive is amazing to me. All 4 of these are considered S-tier options, but for drastically different reasons. First off, Park City is on Epic and we're on Icon this year, so didn't check it out on this trip. Nearby you have Deer Valley, which is arguably the fanciest ski resort in the US. If you've never skied before and your only image of it is a movie showing a fancy European ski mountain, this is the closest you get. This is perfect for all levels, but definitely more fun for beginners and intermediate, given how the runs are designed. Since they are at a lower elevation, they get less fresh snow. For that reason, they focus more on making snow and maintaining good runs. This is perfect if you're into groomed runs that are well maintained. There are black runs here, but it's more about speed and form, rather than navigating tricky terrain. Okay, what do you mean by fancy? The main lifts have Kleenex and maps you can take. This is something I've never seen anywhere else, whether Europe, Asia, or Canada. They also have full-time employees standing by the maps to answer questions and to suggest runs. If you're looking for service and great food options, this is perfect. Note that this is a ski-only destination and snowboarders are sadly not allowed. Alta is almost the exact opposite. You have the bare minimums for food and people are definitely there to ski rather than enjoy a coffee over a fireplace. This one is also ski-only sadly, but is higher up and generally has better snow. You also have a ton of steep terrain and other sections you can explore. At the same time, it's also pretty accommodating for intermediate, so you definitely don't need to be advanced. Tons of blue runs here that are pretty calm. Last up is Snowbird, where you can both ski and snowboard. This is almost an in-between option on the ground experience side. You have a bunch of ski-in and ski-out hotels that are reasonably fancy, but not St. Regis level. This is also targeted towards more intermediate and advanced levels, but offers more options for advanced skiers and snowboarders. More rocky areas, things you need to hike to, and just unique runs. If you're comfortable on blues and blacks, you'll love it. Overall, Asher Adams is one of the most magical hotels I've been to. If you like history or design, it's definitely worth a visit, even if it's just for a drink or a dinner. Add in that there's great customer service with all the staff we interacted with. A lot of other hotels give off the don't bother me vibe. Here they were sharing history of the hotel and architecture and actually friendly. The rooms are definitely more homey, so if you're looking for hypermodern and flash, this might not be a fit. Still though, this is one of the hotels we're looking forward to coming back to, so that says something. If you're looking to book this, I would definitely compare the cash and points price. Depends on when you go, but cash probably makes more sense. My view is that if it's not a good points redemption, then I'd rather save the points for a future trip. If you want additional perks for your stay, like more credits, I'll link to our travel portal down below. If you made it to this point, leave a locomotive train emoji in the comments down below and I'll try to heart it and respond. Out of curiosity, what are your thoughts on the hotel? How do you think about using points versus cash? Also, do you ski or snowboard? Let me know and everyone else know in the comments down below. Hit the like button, subscribe, but otherwise hope you liked it. See you on the road.